So if there's this huge threat of all of these crazy drunk people, just crashing into everything all over the place, then why is anybody out driving?
Mm-hmm. Because they still need to get to work and shit.
Is it really this giant threat?
I don't think it's a giant threat.
It's not. Another point of information. When you get sent to a MAD presentation, Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Oh, they're good at making you feel bad,
One of the single biggest public sympathy scams in the history of the world. You go there and they tell you, they have one of these stupid facts that they make you memorize. On average, and it's everything's always on average because they don't actually know anything about anything. They just count colored dots and make up stupid shit. On average, a first-time DUI, conviction, a person has they've actually been over the limit and driven 400 times before being caught. So.
I don't know where they get those numbers from.
It's really dangerous, and we have to pay taxes so these assholes can build roads that suck, and we can have cops pull us over for DUIs, and we can rest assured that every 1/4% of the number of times somebody drives drunk, they fucking take a bunch of money from them and then make them sit in jail. God, they're fucking saving all of us.
They try. Ladies and gentlemen, back at it with the powerful Professor Phil. Everyone, thanks for coming back here, man, to come out and hang out with me. Phil, I've always wanted to be more of a positive guy, in my life.
Why?
Because I don't like negative energy.
Why?
Because it's no good for you, man. What do you mean, why? That's a dumb fucking question,
subjective.
Dude. No, it's not. Being positive is not subjective. There's things though, people look at it and they see someone doing something positive. Then they look at someone else touching little boys. That's something negative.
Yeah, see,
there's nothing subjective about that. But here,
I'm gonna get you right off the bat.
Okay.
See, I would rather look at it as, does whatever is being engaged in reconcile? I don't care if anybody wants to slap a positive or negative label on it. I mean, we can do that all day. I can bring up just about anything that anyone does. There'll be a group of people who says it's positive. Another group of people says it's negative.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's something I just actually pretty learned myself. So this relationship that I just got out of, this girl, she had severe depression. It's something that I never really had experienced with before, in a romantic relationship settings. So I would do, not only as a partner, but as a friend, I tried to do anything in my power to help her break out of that state of mind. Show her that she does have a choice. she said, she would tell me that there'll be some days where she's so fucking depressed that she can't even get out of bed, and she can't do anything, she can't function. She just has to she would call them an episode. She would have these episodes that'll last a few days to a week, or she would be suicidal, and she'd have all these really dark thoughts, and out of nowhere too, which is what struck me, because I would be with this person the day before. We'd go out, have fun, everything would be fine and normal. And then the next day, it'd be she's a completely different person. And me trying to be that positive guy that I am, that also tends to get blinded by my optimism, unfortunately.
Okay.
I tried doing whatever, showing her that there's a different way that you live life and that you do always have a choice. When she says I physically can't get out of bed, I say, no, you can get out of bed. And all this depression, all this mental illness bullshit, it's all in your fucking head. And she would always tell me, oh, you don't understand. You've never been depressed. You're not hearing me out. You're not seeing things from my perspective. And that's why I said, well, hold on. When I was 18 years old, you weren't there. I got pulled over, had a quarter pound of weed in my car. That fucked me up pretty bad. You know what I mean? At that age. And not only that, it goes even deeper than that. When I was a kid growing up, I was kind of fat, had tons of acne, got made fun of for my speech impediment. Kids are fucking savages. You know how it is. So I did not fit in, dude, as a kid growing up. Kids said I sounded like a retard and all that shit. Now you can say me that and I don't care, but growing up, dude, that hurt. And it fucked with
dude, it's brutal.
Dude, it fucked with me really bad. So what did I do as a kid? I was a nerd and I played a fuck ton of video games because that was my escape, and I found acceptance in the virtual world that I didn't get from going to school in the real world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would say you weren't there for any of that. And my house also got raided when I was 24 years old. Literally, cops came in, flipped everything upside down, took thousands of dollars for me, and she wasn't there for that. And I did over a month in jail for it. Yeah. The girl that I was dating at the time, like when my house got raided, I ended up moving in with her. And I was like so depressed and fucked up after my house got raided. I barely worked. I stopped working out. I actually went back to playing the game that I got lost in is Heroes of the Storm, which is kind of funny. So in my mid-20s, I used the same escape as a kid. Again, 20 years later when I was older, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it ended up, like, I honestly think ruining my relationship with this woman because I wouldn't want to be with me either. I didn't do shit. I didn't want to go out and hang out with her friends. I didn't want to drink. I just wanted to sit there and be fucking miserable. For whatever, that was comfortable for me at the time, was just sit there and throw myself a fucking pity party. And I feel like a lot of these people who have this type of mental illness that's severe, when I try to help them, or when anyone tries to help them and try to show them that there's another way and that's all in their head, and I understand it's not fucking easy to do. God damn it, where was I fucking going with this? Hold on. Let me put my thoughts together real quick. You're
okay.
No, I got it. Sorry, I got it. I lost my train of thought there for a second. When someone like me tries to show these people that there's a more positive way to outlook on life and you can break through that, it actually makes things worse for them. She would get upset as I would tell her these things, as for me being positive, trying to be constructive and trying to tell her that she does have a choice and doesn't have to live like this. I would get hit with, you don't understand. You've never been to best. You just work out and eat vegetables. Because that's obviously the fucking answer to everything.
Yeah. Well, just from that particular of the, you don't understand kind of a thing. The only way that changes for that person is if they acknowledge that it doesn't help them at all to issue responses to positivity that essentially do the exact same thing that they're claiming is being done to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can't hold up this warning sign and be the thing that you're warning against at the same time. It's not when you're talking about interpersonal shit.
Right.
You get into the public sphere, that's all any of these fuckers do.
And I did try to be, I was very empathetic, with her. You got to be in any type of romantic relationship. Well, not only that, but even like any good personal relationship that you have with good friends, you got to be empathetic. I'm empathetic with you, my good buddy Mike, my family members, people that you care about, you're empathetic with. So I did try to look at things from her perspective. And it kind of made me start to think, I don't know, like maybe some people don't have a choice. I don't fucking know. Maybe there is a fog in some people's mental head where they can't fucking do it. Well, they've been born with it their whole life. Because when I told her about the experiences that I was going through, going to jail, this and that, she says, well, those are just experiences that made you depressed. She says, she's like, what I have, I was born with it.
Okay, so she's differentiating between like the conscious, your conscious emotional reaction to particular events, like, having your house raided or whatever, whether you brought them on yourself or not. I mean, hell, it could be, somebody close to you dying in a car accident.
Yeah.
It could be the death of a parent. It could be, I don't know, finding out that you have some kind of a degenerative thing or whatever. So it could be any number of things. But she's saying that she has some element of an inherent nature of being this way.
Yeah, that there's nothing that she can do about it. And this is maybe why I get a little optimistic about things, because I refuse to accept that as an answer, especially when it's someone you care about too. I'm not, as someone that I care about, I'm not just gonna sit there and not do anything and fucking cry and let them be miserable and lay there and be miserable with them. I'm gonna try to fucking figure out a solution, whatever it takes, you know what I mean, to help them lift that fog out of their head.
Yeah, well, it's got to come from inside of them. I mean, you can, everybody can, measure whatever intention they have and then interact with a person who's, behaving that way. But any actual change has just got to be the choice of that person. I don't even think it's not pills that are helping any of these people. The pill is it's a material illustration of their desire to make the choice.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the some of the elements of brainwashing about what the medical field can do, and like what they claim to have established as knowledge through their studies and shit.
Yeah.
They're convinced that going, I can never differentiate which one it is, psychiatrist or psychologist.
Whatever, don't matter.
One prescribes drugs. The other one specifically concentrates on therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Without
like
pharmaceuticals.
Just talking to people.
But, to go and get the drug prescribed to have that daily dose. Well, that all you're doing, you're substituting one thing that comes in the form of a pill for the other thing,
which comes in the form of communication.
Which doesn't really. You haven't solved anything.
Yeah,
you've simply all you've done is like you're at one of those binocular things on a pier at a tourist place or whatever.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is you're just shifting the goggles from the sailboat to the hot dog stand on the shore.
Right. You're not changing anything. And I think, like, clearly she has been going through this like her whole life. Well, I'm like, try to ask her, well, how many times have you tried actually doing something different? You got all these people, they just lay down there, just wanted people to just throw them a pity party and kind of feel bad for them, opposed to finding the solution, like you said.
Well, and I spent a lot of time like that.
Yeah, I know, and so did I.
And that's how most of the time that I spent with the circles of peers that I had, prior to the, I don't know, last 5 years, really. It was always like I was, modifying myself to try and fit into the mold of somebody who would be in that circle doing that thing. And you do, for me, this is doing that for so many years. You just realize that's whatever it is that you think is coming on the other end of changing yourself to be in those places. It's never coming.
Right. And I think for me, what really hurt the most is like, I don't care that she gave up on me and our relationship. What I care about is that she gave up on herself, that she accepted this fact that there is no breaking out of these episodes that she has. And I feel like a lot of people, they give up on themselves too early or maybe too easily, especially when it comes to this mental illness. I see on social media every day, dude, people my age, the millennials, 20 to 29 years old, something about anxiety, something about depression, or then it's this, and then it's that. And then you have this half of people, they're making points where it's like, oh, well, you're doing this to yourself, this and that. And then you got the other people like, no, saying, no, you don't understand. It's two sides of this game that's never fucking ending.
Well, you want to know what's brilliant about it is that just a single concept can just absolutely obliterate so much of this bullshit.
And that's that people choose.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I tried to tell
beyond, it's even more fundamental than that. This is the reason that things like racism are asinine. It's the universal mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like all this stuff, well, you don't understand my point of view. Well, when you boil it down to the fundamental nature of the mind, it doesn't matter which orientation or placement of the individual you have. This whole perception point of view thing is is a mischaracterization of wanting to be able to communicate feelings to people.
Right.
And you can't do it.
No, I know it. And it's funny because they say you don't see things from my perspective.
That's
well,
right.
Maybe
because I'm over here.
Right. Well, maybe you should tell these
what
people.
What you're describing doesn't make any sense to me. See, we're both.
Like, maybe you should come over here and look through these goggles, because obviously your goggles are fucked up and they're making you mentally ill and they're ruining your life. So instead of saying, no, you need to put on my goggles and look at shit through my perspective, maybe they're the ones that need to use some empathy and start looking at things from a different fucking way.
And honestly, so much of what we see today is just people using more words. It's more and more and more and more words that basically just say, I don't wanna.
Mm-hmm.
I don't wanna. Like, let's take a really obnoxious example.
Okay. The more obnoxious, the better.
Yeah, the public financing of the arts. Well, nobody can define art. So why are we publicly funding it?
I don't know.
Because there are a lot of people who want to participate in image building and narcissism and shit. I don't want to work.
Mm-hmm.
No, what I want to do is I want to screw around with image makers and bullshit artists to make this pile of shit that I made worth a lot of money, because there's another group of morons who have a lot of money. Not because they've done anything great, simply because they're hooked up to the fake money machine. See, there's a lot of people who are saying, I don't wanna, and then turning other people's complete unawareness of what the hell is actually going on into sympathy and desire to help, so that they can simply be the next extension of the fucking fake money train.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's publicly done, anything. It's all that, all of it.
Yeah.
There's one exception. The one exception I'm still willing to actually let people try to convince me about is whatever national defense is.
Okay, it's okay. Well, let's stay on track.
That's it.
But I think when it comes back to the whole like mental illness thing.
Yeah, well, you have to stop using the phrase.
Yeah, stop using the phrase.
Talk about what you're actually, what is it? What's the actual thing? What's the substance?
Yeah, what's making you sad? What's making you feel depressed? What's giving you this like extreme anxiety? And I hate it. I hate it when people say you don't know what I've been through. Because at the beginning of the episode, I listed everything that I've been through. Another thing that really kind of almost triggers me when people say that, it's that when they see someone like me, who's like a pretty positive guy, has a good outlook on life, yeah, kind of optimistic and naive at times, but they see me, they go, like, he seems generally happy. They automatically assume that I didn't go through anything, that I've never struggled, that I've never been depressed, and I don't know if it's like, no, I've actually been in some really fucking dark places, and I managed to climb out of that hole. So, and I know if a dumbass like me can do it, anyone can do it.
Oh, I know. Dude,
I don't buy that. That no one can fucking climb out of those dark, deep depression places. I don't buy it, dude. I don't.
No,
you can call me optimistic and fucking believer, but
no. You know what? You keep going for a minute, because I gotta prepare for this one.
You gotta prepare for this one. Okay, you go ahead and go and prepare. And these people, just like when it comes to the romantic sense, I wasn't going to just sit there and let my girlfriend feel that way.
No. That's even the worst feeling in the world.
Even if it was like, say if it's not even my girlfriend, say if it was my best friend or a good friend, even if it was you, dude, I was not going to sit there and let you fucking feel that way. I'm going to do whatever I can to try to show you that there's a different way to live life. But some of these people, they don't understand that they have a choice. They say they believe in free will, but then they say they get so depressed they can't physically make the choices that they know they need to. They're neglecting everything that they need to do. And they blame it on this mental illness fucking word that just gets thrown around with everything, by the way. I think that word has just been way too abused to the point. It's almost like a cop-out now to the point. It's like, oh, I'm bad at interviews because my mental illness gives me anxiety. Dude, everyone has fucking anxiety at interviews. And it's all about perspective too, right? Going back to the perspective thing. If I have an anxiety going into an interview, I don't look at it as a negative. I look at it as a positive because I know that I care. I'm like, okay, I'm nervous about this. Now, I don't want this to make me like freeze up and silent when I'm getting asked a question, but instead I'm going to try to use this to show that I do care about this job and I want to fucking get it.
Yeah.
You know, there's always so many ways that you can go with this shit.
Yeah. The part that really gets me is just the unrecognized contradiction in just making the statement. It's like, you don't understand, or you don't know how I feel, but you're everything about whatever it is that you're claiming about the way you feel depends on making an appeal to my sympathy, which would require that I can understand why I'm supposed to feel sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
get it.
There's really and this is how you know that people don't critically think, is that things just come out of just different places. So they're not actually constructing anything they say themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's all situational and a degree of repetition. So they're Pavlovian.
Mm.
I actually, several years ago, I had a little phrase. I'm gonna bring it back.
Okay.
And this is gonna be a hashtag going forward.
Okay.
Hashtag super Pavlovians.
Super Pavlovians.
Yes. Okay. So Pavlov was the guy that did the experiments about using noise signals to get dogs to do things or whatever. What we have now, we have people who they're programmed like those dogs, but on another level, because they're people. They're programmed to just feel bad all the time and just say this random collection of things that don't reconcile with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't possibly really know what they're saying. Yeah. And they just have these bad feelings and just feel like they need to say words at people.
It's almost like you're stuck in a loop too, because if you're anyone who has a similarity, so like one day you're completely fine, happy, going living life, and then the next day you wake up and then you feel depressed and feel like shit for no reason. You're doing that to yourself somewhere.
Now let's see, and that's
like
what?
It sounds so ridiculous, like it's almost like it's hard to believe, but I've seen it, so I believe it. I just don't know how it gets generated and how it starts is what I'm confused about. Not denying that it doesn't happen. I don't know how it gets generated in the first place.
Wait, are you talking about?
So from one day being really happy to the next day being suicidal.
Oh, some people, they're just manic. They just have big swings.
Yeah.
Other people are very monotone, and it's like nothing ever changes anything.
Yeah.
I mean, they can win the frickin' lottery, or their dog could get hit by a car,
and they're just going to be the same.
They're pretty much, their blips on their radar go like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got other people are there's waving all over the place all the time.
Yeah,
but that's the uniqueness of individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we know that people that's not like an element of the design?
Yeah,
that once you have this level of numbers of individuals all living at the same time, that the only possible outcome is that you have people that start filling in these behavioral niches just out of probability. How do we know that a person's early adulthood and feeling depressed and isolated or whatever isn't like set up for a future endeavor that's far more important than their sex life during their 20s? Right?
Mm. It could very well be just a phase. Like, you don't know that. Like,
well, I mean, I understand why you would say it, but the idea that it's something that needs to end and that others need to do something to make it end, that's a very poor foundation to build any action on.
Because the only one that can make it end is themselves.
It's the same thing with the addiction shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many times you shove a person through treatment on a forced basis. They don't, Even if they make the choice while they're in state required treatment or whatever, it's not the state required treatment that's doing it. It's them making the choice.
Yeah. Now I can say when I went to treatment,
That's simple.
when I got busted for all that weed, when I first went to treatment, it was forced. I didn't want to change. I got kicked out like 3 fucking times actually of treatment centers because I was just young. And back then, a day without smoking weed seemed fucking impossible. Like it honestly did. Like a day of no weed, just I couldn't fucking do it for whatever reason until I got to a point where it's like, okay, you go and complete treatment or you're gonna do a lot of time until it got that to that level. Ooh. So guess what? I went there, I finished it,
sat through it,
sobered it out, did everything, jumped through all the hoops. Week after I finished it, I got high as fuck because I didn't want to change. I just didn't want to go to jail. And that's why these forced treatments, they don't fucking work.
Oh, well, and the whole thing with there shouldn't, I mean, honestly, there shouldn't be anything as far as testing for THC levels.
Yeah.
Not with the shit that they've got people on purposely that's completely legal. No.
Yeah, I know.
No.
It's like, okay, you can go and take a bunch of testosterone boosters and all this other insane shit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we can hack off parts of your body and tell you you're something you're not. We can do that all day.
But don't be smoking any weed, though.
Just the benefits of, I mean, it's just in all aspects of life. That smoking marijuana or taking THC pills or whatever, it's a miracle. It's a miracle plant, and it's not to mention the material and industrial uses.
And I'll say this, like it makes crazy. Me. Well, actually, when it's funny, weed makes me feel better when I do get in those like depressed and sad state of mind. Alcohol does not.
No, alcohol is terrible.
Alcohol makes it worse. I mean. Remember through like some of the really bad breakups I had when I was young age and when it felt like my world was upside down, I didn't know what to do, or just any other dark times in my life, I would go out and I would drink because to me it felt like I'm getting wasted. It makes you forget about it. And when you take that shot of vodka, sure, it kills the pain for like that second. You take it, all right, I don't feel anything for a little bit. Later on, as the night goes on, the liquor keeps flowing, you start coming down, everything comes around and it punches you right in the fucking mouth like 1,000 times harder. Weed, on the other hand, I could take a hit of weed and I'll be like, I could live without that bitch. Actually, I get the complete opposite. Like it doesn't make me feel like depressed and sad and crying anymore. It gives me like a more of a positive outlook and path to look at things, to whatever it is that I'm going through. Now that's just me personally. I mean, I'm sure it's different for everyone, but
the best thing that it's done for me is it allowed me to, keep my mind actively engaged, but without applying the same restrictions on where I'm willing to go. So in that way, it's not like it enlightens you. No. It just lets you.
It makes you
not care about like what you're not supposed to say or think.
Yeah,
and that's where all actual ideation comes from.
Right.
It doesn't come from repeating the shit you read in a book.
Yeah. Makes you creative, makes you think of something new. It gives you a sense of like curiosity also. Well, alcohol, I don't get curious. I just want to sit on my ass and get drunk.
I used to.
I don't get me wrong, I love drinking. Like,
there would be times I would go overboard when I was, out with people doing whatever, trying to do the thing. And my battle was always don't get to the point where you now make yourself sick because you're thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always afraid that that the drink I was on was too much. Drinking is terrible. Now, if I ever drink, it's 2 or 3.
Yep.
Depending on how long I'm there.
See, I drink
it's never more than that, and I don't ever worry about it because that's the. For my size, that's the amount I can drink,
Yep.
Get a little happy feeling and not even worry about my stomach going bad or getting a headache or any of that shit. I just get the good part at the beginning, and that's the only good part.
Yeah.
I can't understand what people get out of
drinking so much,
sitting and drinking a 12-pack of something.
Yeah.
Or doing shot after shot for hours. I can't. I don't.
Or just sitting at the bar all day. I don't know how Mike does it, to be honest, some fucking days.
Oh, no. Sitting at the bar all day. I don't have any problem with that. I'll sit at the bar all day talking with people. No problem.
But especially drinking the whole time, though?
Well, I mean, if we were going to be like, well, say for a Super Bowl bit, there are some people, they're going to be at their place at noon. The game doesn't start here until 5:30.
I know. They're going to be drinking at noon.
They're going to be at their spot for maybe 10 hours.
That's insane. Okay? I've never been at a bar that long.
I've done stuff like that where it was a particular, Super Bowl. I think I've been at a place for that long, but then I turn it into a rate equation.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, which one am I on? How long have I been here? And if it gets anywhere close to 1 hour, no, I'm on soda for the next hour. I don't even screw with it.
Yeah. See, I drink every day, but the thing is, I don't get drunk. I have my few Trulies, and that's it. I can't handle feeling like shit the next day.
That's awful.
Like, it makes me not even want to drink. You've had those really bad fucking hangovers. It makes you never want to drink again.
See, it was never hangovers for me.
Well, for me, that's what it is. I hated feeling like shit the next day.
It's always night of. It's the night of part. And once I'm in my own head that I'm gonna feel sick, then I get sick, and then it's just a terrible spiral. And
not only that, but the decisions you make when you're really drunk compared to when you're really high are far more stupid. Like, I can't even tell you how many times you're drunk, dial your ex, or you text someone you shouldn't, you say something you don't mean, you start a fight, you get in the car and decide to drive. Like, compared to when you're really fucking high, dude. What do? You sit on your ass on the couch and order a large stuffed crust pizza.
As far as
that's
driving,
about the worst.
As far as the driving goes, I know in respect to the law, I mean, anybody who drinks ever has driven their car over the limit. Mm-hmm. It's just it doesn't matter what you think, you've done it.
Yeah, I have 1 D-dub, but I should have 1,000.
Yeah, well, I have too.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that every time I've ever driven. The only mistakes I've made with it is, well, one time I didn't even drive the damn thing. I went outside, sat in it, looked at my phone to check it because I was waiting for somebody to call me while I was at that place.
Yeah.
And I fell asleep looking at my phone. And the fucker comes and knocks on my window and takes me out of the truck, and now I got a DUI.
That's insane.
That was fucking retarded.
Yeah.
The second time, I did actually leave. And I drove, and I got to the gas station. I was going to buy some cigarettes before I went home, and I checked my phone. It was another thing. I checked my phone for something, and I fell asleep sitting there. Knock, knock, knock. Fucked again.
And what?
Both times.
Were you
falling asleep?
And the second time?
Yeah, both times. Neither time I've gotten a DUI was I actually driving the vehicle.
And you just dozed.
It's just fucking incredible.
Yeah. You can fucking really doze off easily, dude, when you're drinking. Like, I feel like all it really takes, there's some nights that I don't even remember falling asleep. And when I'm not even that drunk either, I could just lay down on the couch for a second and I just close my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's it. That's probably what happened. You're probably the same way. You know what I mean? You can just lean back in your car seat, shut your eyes for a minute. You're kind of comfy. It's nice and warm in there. Then you're gone. You just slip away into your dreams.
All I know is that I mean, we're getting. How did we even get over to this?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
It's just through the whole, coming out of the depression and mindset and all that.
Yeah.
But the particulars of that scam of a regime of prosecuting people for this, it's all in the name of all of this prevention. But they don't prevent anything. So the real prosecutions should be from the interactions where somebody's actually harmed. Because if you're just in your car drunk, nothing has happened.
Yet. No.
And that's
But see, you can't trust
this
that,
whole
though, Phil.
predicting the future thing about what individuals' actions are going to do. You can't be engaged in this preemptive prosecution shit.
No, but why
if
take
that
the
were
risk?
the case, I would just take everybody who runs for office and put them in jail so they can't steal from me legally.
No, but why take the risk when you got tons of families that have lost their kids, lost their mom, and
why
lost
take
their
the risk
dad?
of destroying our money constantly?
Well, dude, I'm just saying,
we
dude,
can do that back and forth all fucking day.
Yeah, we can, but dude, I'm just saying, maybe the prosecutions are a little too extreme for when someone like you does get pulled over and caught in their car for sleeping when they're not driving. But I think trying to prevent that problem where someone could potentially crash their car because they're too drunk or under the influence or whatever is a positive. Because there's been way too many lives that have lost at too young of an age. And if you probably don't give a shit because I know you don't really care about people, dude. But I have faith in people. I have faith in people. I'm sympathetic.
I care more about people than anybody who has not done the breakdown of everything they think like I have. I don't say these things lightly. I say these because it's the result of a dedicated analysis of how you can actually construct an argument about the should and the we and all of this shit.
Yeah.
And none of it's real. It's all bullshit.
Okay.
This idea that, now here, let's break down the particular part of what you just said that is what makes it it's just not right.
Okay.
Too many lives have been lost. No, that's not something to say.
Why isn't it?
No, when somebody loses their life in an accident, yeah, that's terrible, and it affects a lot of people. But the idea of lives lost, people lose people all the time.
So why not try to prevent it then if you can? And yeah, I agree with you. The consequences of some of these things, I've gotten a deed of, dude. I agree with you. It's fucking ridiculous how they can take your car and make you do all this shit and make you pay thousands of dollars. I agree with you. The consequences are a little too harsh, and that needs to be changed. But trying to prevent it is a positive, dude.
No, it's just something that's done.
Okay, we can agree to disagree on that.
And I don't accept the methodology by which it's
well, you don't accept
undertaken.
anything the police or the state do. They don't accept any of that. When the fact is, they do some good things.
No, they do.
There are some good people.
And there's a group that thinks it's good, and there's another group that may not have an opinion or doesn't think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And I simply say that on a fundamental level, like reasoning from first principles, the public enforcement of the law doesn't have a leg to stand on. People can sit and talk about the results that we get from it. Go right ahead. I'm just saying that the private provision of that service would be an infinite improvement over what we have. Everything is that way.
Like the service of how they go about giving people D-dubs and how they follow up with them after.
Well, no, see, if
that's what needs to get changed.
The actual what's the not projection, but I don't know. If you were to go forward from now without all this public shit and what would replace it, you would have private roads, and whoever owns the roads would be the one that dictates who's on them, and then have a contract.
How the fuck would a private road work, dude? Are you listening to yourself right now?
We don't know, do we?
No, we don't. But so you're just gonna let someone open up a private road, and they goes, "Hey, you can pay me X amount of money. You can drive my road. It takes you from Minneapolis down to Lakeville, and I got another private road that will take you all the way to Chicago if you want to go on a road trip. But by the way, there's no cops. People can drive however the fuck they want. They can get super fucking wasted if they want to hop in the car. They can do any sorts of drugs. They just do whatever the fuck they want.
Oh, I know. No, see,
I'll tell you right now, Phil. I would never drive on a road like that." And that's what you want.
But those are the roads we actually have, and they're provided by public authorities.
But it's not.
All of the shit that you think would happen on the private roads already happens on the public roads.
Not to the extent that it would happen on the private, though.
And not only that, but the public provision of roads is designed to be a money-sucking, inefficient clusterfuck. Have you ever seen a freeway project in the Twin Cities where what was installed handled the traffic better than what was there before? It's never happened. They constantly fucking tear these roads up and put shit down, and nothing ever improves. So what the fuck? Why do we want these people to have the authority to tax the shit out of us and then go through this parade of bullshit where they move all these machines around and we just end up with roads that everybody's stuck on half the fucking day anyway? They never actually install a system that fucking functions correctly. So why do I want them doing anything?
But they did install a system that at least works.
See,
that's the thing.
I
think you're making it sound like way too easy than it actually is.
No, I'm not making it sound anything.
You act like you got all these answers and solutions, dude. You've never worked in there. You've never had to design a highway. You never had to construct a road and design a map and figure out all these things.
And you have.
No, I haven't. I'm not claiming I have, but I'm not the one saying we need private roads.
See, now I'm just going to give you an example of a mistake you're making. That's just an invalid thing to do when you're trying to promote a position.
I'm not trying to promote a position. I'm just disagreeing with your private road.
You're saying that my lack of experience in the industry undercuts what I'm saying about what actually exists right now.
Yeah.
So you're saying that people don't sit in rush hour traffic for multiple hours a day?
Oh no, when did I say that they don't? When did I ever say that?
Then what are you disagreeing with me about?
I'm disagreeing with you that you think that private roads is the answer, and there isn't going to be that same bullshit.
Roads is one example. My position is that the private provision of anything is better. Anything.
Okay. When it comes to certain things, maybe, yes.
No, there are no exceptions. The public provision of everything is substandard. Everything.
I just don't think you're just
by definition.
You just don't trust anyone, dude. That's the problem. I have faith, and maybe that's my weakness. I have faith in humanity.
I trust people who are willing to engage with me out of free association and the actual identification of the capacity to provide in exchange.
Mm-hmm.
When I look to a public authority, all I see is a fucker with a gun and a badge saying, you're going to pay for this shit no matter what we give you.
Yeah.
Those don't feel the same.
No, they don't.
And that's why one is better than the other fundamentally. You know what? I don't care if everything becomes public provision and the population reduces to fucking 5% and we go back to the frickin' Bronze Age.
And
It's better than Star Trek with public authorities. No question.
Better than Star Trek.
The presence of public authority and all of the corruption and backstabbing and image making and lying and thieving and everything else that goes along with it is a fucking prison with a lot of plastic and doodads and flashy lights.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather live in a place with honest people and till a field.
No, I'm with it, dude. I got D-Dub. I've gotten in trouble too. So I've been through the system. I know how it works. I've been there just as much as you do. But the thing is,
now
they run people off of fear, right? Which is fucked up. They add these laws. They see what happens to people like you and me, and it makes them fearful to not ever, get behind the wheel while they're drinking. Which I think what I'm trying to say is I wish they would be able to get that mindset of, hey, don't drive while you're fucking wasted without installing the fear into everyone.
See
what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
I wish they could do.
Here's another argument in my favor.
All right.
See, the behaviors of individuals.
Yeah.
They affect
game fuel.
They affect the environment within which other individuals make decisions and take actions, right? So if there's this huge threat of all of these crazy drunk people, just crashing into everything all over the place, then why is anybody out driving?
Mm-hmm. Because they still need to get to work and shit.
Is it really this giant threat?
I don't think it's a giant threat.
It's not. Then another point of information. When you get sent to a MAD presentation, Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Oh, they're good at making you feel bad,
One
dude.
of the single biggest public sympathy scams in the history of the world. You go there and they tell you, they have one of these stupid facts that they make you memorize. On average, and everything's always on average because they don't actually know anything about anything. They just count colored dots and make up stupid shit. On average, a first-time DUI, conviction, a person has, they've actually been over the limit and driven 400 times before being caught. So,
I don't know where they get those numbers
it's
from.
really dangerous, and we have to pay taxes so these assholes can build roads that suck, and we can have cops pull us over for DUIs, and we can rest assured that every 1/4% of the number of times somebody drives drunk, they fucking take a bunch of money from them and then make them sit in jail. God, they're fucking saving all of us.
They make the
1 in
consequences.
400 trips. What are they preventing? Nothing.
They make the consequences just so extreme and hope to just install that fear into everyone that they'll never do it
what
again.
they do is they look at a behavior, they look at the number of people they have available to, basically confront whoever the offenders are, and they just come up with a rate, and they say, well, this is the median lifestyle of the people in our city or our district or whatever the hell it is, our precinct. And they say, well, what is it? What's the bounty that we can actually get off of them for taking this part of their life away for making a mistake that we've classified as a mistake?
Yeah.
And we've just somehow convinced everybody that it's this terrible fucking thing. And then they slap a number on there. And usually it's significantly higher than anybody can really deal with in a one-off situation where it's a freaking intervention in their life. And that's exactly that. They think that that's a deterrent. But they've designed it to not be a deterrent because it's all based on their ability to confront the offenders that they know are occurring in far greater numbers than they could ever effectively enforce anything against.
Yeah, they are.
You see?
I wonder how many.
You see how twisted that is?
Oh, no, I see.
I just don't understand how anybody can possibly think that,
I'm with you, dude, but
that's a good idea to continue doing anything with that kind of a methodology.
I agree with you. In the sense that the way that they approach it with the methodology, I understand it's fucking wrong. But at the same time, I'm also feel like we have to do something to try to prevent people from getting fucking wasted and then going and driving the car. We have to try to do something, whatever it may be.
Well,
and I know you agree with that too. You don't think people should be getting wasted and get behind the wheel.
From where we are right now, there's an infinite number of directions that we could go to come up with a solution. Do you know what you're suggesting?
What?
We focus a laser beam in the direction of basically guaranteeing that it's wrong. Because that's the only direction the state can point.
Yep.
It's the art of convincing people that you should be in control of being wrong.
Yeah.
That's what the state is. It's a bunch of arbitrarily fucking built up positions of hierarchy who then have arbitrary control over the use of everything. That's why you don't own anything.
Yeah.
Because everything's dictated by control of use through a political structure.
And then you think you own your car and then you get a deed up and then they take that shit.
Oh, you want to know what has really been a big thing?
See, I don't agree with that
Parents who sign for vehicle loans for their kids then having a loan called due on a vehicle that was just taken by the state for a DUI.
Dude, that shit's happened to me before. Well, it
happened to my parents twice.
So what happened? So let me tell you a quick little story. Back when I was 18, when I got caught with the quarter pound of weed in my car, so the car was under my dad's name at the time.
Oh, so then they fucking... Oh my
well, what
God.
they did, they weren't even going to let me get the car. let us get the car back. My dad went in and out of court for like 2 to 3 years, dude, before he finally got the car back. And then they did some, legal documentation bullshit where I basically was never allowed to drive the car. And if I ever got pulled over in it, they could seize it. You know what I mean? Some shit.
Oh, God, they're just sick.
Like, they can just do and write whatever the fuck they want on there. But it's crazy to me that I can get pulled over in someone else's car and then they can lose it. They can just take it away.
Oh, it's sick. They shouldn't be able to they shouldn't be able to just abscond with anybody's property in any situation.
I know.
We pay taxes to accomplish whatever the fuck it is that you think you do. Can you read that name?
Marnie Bell?
Marnie Bell thinks we suck.
Oh, it's okay. She's probably not the only one. Boy, okay.
Thanks
Marnie
for
Bell,
the feedback.
82596.
I wonder. I wonder if it's just like I don't speak well, or if it's something I actually.
No, dude.
said.
What it is, dude? That person isn't even watching anymore, Phil. I just want you to know, dude. When I see messages just like that, I just ignore them. You want to know why, Phil? Because they just hop into random channels and random streams and random whatevers, and they just troll.
Oh my god!
Like
I don't know.
When someone does that, I don't even give them the recognition or response. What they just did to you, that's what they wanted. They got a reaction out of you. And then you start asking, and then right after that, you started beating yourself up. Well, I wonder if that's the way I talk. Once I do this.
No,
people like this. So, okay,
I'm
for everyone who's
curious.
listening, hold on. For everyone who's listening right now, we just had, I don't know, some random person just came in the chat, said, we suck. There's so many ways you can take it. I've been a part of the internet long enough to know. I was a little kid once. I would just go into chat rooms and troll them because it was funny and it was bored to them. There's people like that on the internet. They want to just search for shit and to try to get a reaction out of people. That's why I refuse to give it to them, because you know what they do? They say something like that. They wait for a reaction. And if they don't get it, they go to a different stream and do the same shit and try to get the reaction that they were looking for. They got it out of you. And come on, Phil, you're better than that.
I don't.
See, I
always like to know. I want to know if it's a reaction to a particular thing I said. That's all I want to know. I don't care if people think I suck. I've always known that most people are not going to respond well to basically anything I say about anything.
Yeah.
Because to even like begin to have a conversation with me about anything meaningful.
Yeah.
You have to understand that I wiped everything. I wiped the whole fucking thing clean.
Out of you, like out of your brain.
Just, I mean, you grow up and you have these little bits and pieces that it's kind of like a figure built out of Tinker Toys. You know, you got the friends that you spend a lot of time with, and they impact you in a certain way, and your parents do. And maybe you've got a bigger immediate family, like aunts and uncles and stuff, grandparents, and maybe they have some impact on you, and school, of course, and the teachers. And you don't control how that patchwork of shit is built up.
It's gonna
now you can, you have some control over like how much effort you put into school. I, in particular, dedicated myself to worrying about everything about school, giving myself stomach aches and shit. But, that's about as much. You might get to pick what extracurricular you do. Mm-hmm. So, I took piano lessons. I wrestled.
I was in band. I played the baritone.
Yeah, I was in band at school.
And then what else did I do? I played basketball. You wrestled? Hold on.
Yeah, I wrestled for 5 years.
Really? What grades?
4th through 8th.
4th through 8th. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see you being a wrestler. I never got into wrestling, but I did play football and I played basketball. I think that goes on during the same time of year.
And then
Damn, Phil.
And then I golfed in high school.
I want to see some pictures of Phil in his wrestling outfit.
Good God,
you gotta still have. I guarantee your mom still has some.
Oh no, I have some.
Oh, dude, you gotta bring some over for me next time. We'll make a cool thumbnail out of them.
Put together these, the big flat Tupperwares. And it's got like folders and scrapbook type stuff just piled up in it. I think I got like 2 or 3 of them.
Okay.
But I know that there's something in there where it's it's like the school review, the review summary for that grade or whatever. And then there's like a spot for sport picture or whatever. And yeah, I'm in my little singlet.
Looking good.
For wrestling up there in that little picture window in that thing. Yeah, I know I got that. I could.
I bet I can see you throwing down in wrestling. Have you always been like tall and lanky? Tall, lanky people can be good fucking wrestlers, dude. At least taller than the people that were in your grade and the ones that you were going up against.
No, when I was in 8th grade, I think I was actually the shortest person in the class.
Really? Okay.
There was
you had a late growth spurt.
There was a Korean girl. I was shorter than her.
Yeah, you had a late growth spurt then.
Yeah, first couple years of high school. Actually, maybe not even the first couple. Maybe sophomore, junior year. But yeah, I grew like a foot in high school.
That was me, but I had an early growth spurt. I was 6 foot in 8th grade in middle school. Oh, I'm 6'2" right now. So since then, I've only grown 2 inches. So I was always like one of the tallest kids in my whole grade, up through elementary school, all the way up to middle school.
There was
always that one freak kid that's like 6'8" or whatever. Oh, God, every grade has the one freakishly tall kid.
No, I was at small schools, so I didn't get it.
There wasn't any fucking physical freaks at yours?
Not really, no. But this took a very severe wander. I went back to this talking about like how little people control about their makeup, you know? And I don't know, what was the point that I was even going for? It's like, oh yeah, how people like just knowing that people are not going to respond well to the things I say because it responds or it
comes off aggressive.
Well, I don't even care about that. the thing that really matters is that the things that I try to tell people about this stuff, they're the result of a process that almost nobody does.
Yeah.
And not even saying that fucking rubs people the wrong way. But I don't know. I feel like in a lot of our conversations, you've felt some of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not the smartest guy alive. I just think that I'm one of the few people that's absolutely committed to there is no compromising on these fundamentals if you want to achieve the stated goals.
Yes.
Now, if you just want to continue to sit in emotional brainwashed wonderland and think that the stated goals can just be molded and manufactured out of any bullshit approach, well, then go ahead. But, if you really want to figure out why it's so fucking frustrating trying to go back and forth with people over these opposing views of how to get there through these fucking political plans and shit, it's because you can't do it. Which means you have to break something down to a more fundamental level to find the fucking errors and build it back up. Maybe my building back up isn't quite right.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that what we got needs to be completely broken down theoretically and just culturally. Like all this stupid shit about people think that voting, it's the fucking head chopping ritual of the Aztecs.
Mm-hmm.
This voting shit. It's not going to make anything better any more than the gods were going to bless those people for chopping heads off.
It's the same bullshit.
Isn't it?
Kinda.
I'm sorry I got so upset about the whole, dude.
The whole what?
Well, when you started.
Well, that was your resolution, huh? I got you going.
When you went after private roads.
Okay.
Because what's funny is that what's the difference? Do you know what the difference actually is? It's only a concept. Because when you look at what happens, it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah, no, I get you.
It's just that the political authority has control of use.
Yes, and the private road.
A private
doesn't
road
have the fear installed in everyone. See,
a private road would be ownership. Now we know that those are different concepts, right?
Mm-hmm.
One functions better than the other.
Yes.
One actually is the definition of dysfunction, according to the people's stated goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it comes to environmentalism, do you want public control of use to maintain the area around a place where you might mine an ore or extract oil or something? Or do you want somebody who's going to be responsible for the value of that land to be responsible for it?
Yeah.
I want the person who needs to maintain the value to take care of it, not somebody who has control of use that they can dole out to somebody in return for votes, who will then abuse and destroy the hell out of it to get every penny they can before the control of use is taken away and given to someone else who's done a better job of
basically
bootlicking and ass kissing.
So they just drain the life out of fucking everything.
Yes, they do.
Is what you're getting at.
Yeah. You know, when they talk about how, like in The Matrix, they just when Agent Smith describes humans as a virus instead of a mammal because of the way they move from place to place and extract everything. It's not people. It's people with power.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to play footsie with you there.
People with power are like a virus because all they do is take and nothing ever comes back to anything that they take from. They're parasites.
Yeah. And the only things that they are given back is to like all their rich buddies who are also viruses. They take and they keep it.
It's absolute insanity that people think that anything effectual for the average person can be accomplished by doing something like changing the minimum wage, when all of the real effects on everybody are being generated in this ridiculously dense center of activity that is hooked up into a $1 trillion a year counterfeiting machine.
Yeah.
I mean, it boggles the mind how destructive these people can be while making people think they're the answer to their problems. Yeah. This is fucking amazing.
Oh man, we'll save it. We'll save it for another day. Well, we're over now here. Do you want to talk more about the circle? Or do you want to get going? Because it's almost 5.
Oh, geez.
I know. Yeah, that's what I'm asking you.
No, I want to get some more from you on the circle, because that show fucking, that what got me.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty funny, like overall. So I'm still surprised that you actually fucking watched it.
Oh,
to be honest, like you out of all people, you would be the last person I would expect to watch it. Like,
oh, I did too. Dude, that's exactly what I was thinking to myself. I started the first episode, and I think it was it Joey's intro?
Yeah.
Or maybe Chris's intro.
Or maybe how the camera just kept showing Sammy's ass every time.
Dude, I had to start. I went back to the beginning of that first episode like 3 times before I actually let it keep playing. So I watched like the first minute and I said, nope. And it was a couple of days later, and I tried it again. I think it got like another minute in. No, I can't do it. And then the third time, I think I finally let it play through. And then I was just fascinated by like the lack of awareness.
Yeah. Well, let's say, okay, so anyone who's watching The Circle on Netflix right now, if you haven't finished watching it, go ahead and stop listening right now and come back, because we're going to talk about shit and I don't want to spoil anything for you.
Oh my God. Even if you knew exactly what was going to happen,
I guess it doesn't really fucking matter.
The value is in just seeing these people go through this sequence. It is just from moment to moment. Did you ever find yourself sitting there and just saying to yourself, you actually contradicted yourself in one sentence?
Yeah. Well, what I got a kick out of is they all went there it was actually pretty interesting, right? Because they went there to win the $100,000, but you actually saw some people that seemed to like forge some genuine friendships. At least it looked like, which was actually pretty cool. You know what I mean? At the end, like Shoebomb and Joey kind of had like their bromance, their bromance going on at the end. Like, and even so again, spoilers. So in the final episode, when they all have dinner together, they were all like seemed genuinely happy that person that they've been talking to this whole time was who they said they were. Well, other than Rebecca, but.
Yeah. No, that was weird.
And it was cool. It was cool to see.
Weird that concept is what ended up bubbling up, is that the people that actually determined what happened on the show were the ones that cared about whether or not other people were being honest.
Yeah.
That's weird.
See, I don't know if
It's not what I was expecting.
See, there was a lot of alliances on that show. I don't know how I would act. I don't think I would forge any alliances with anyone. I'll just be like, hey, I'm Doug. I would just go in there. I'd be myself. I would tell them I'm not trying to forge any alliances or do anything. If you hate me, you can vote me off.
I would have just gone into the audition just so I could record it and get the observer's reaction, because there's no way I would have ever been allowed on that show.
One fun fact that I did.
They would have never let me on that show.
Well, one fun fact that I did pick up on, every single overweight person that went on that decided to catfish should be someone that they're not.
Yeah.
Now we have a few people, what you said a little bit ago, like them contradicting themselves in the same sentence. What was it? Sean was the person that she pretended to be. She was a plus size woman. She pretended to be her really skinny model friend. And her excuse was, you can't judge a book by its cover. So, but then you're changing the cover of the book that you are.
Well, yeah, no,
is she not contradicting herself with that? Like, I see where she's coming from, and she did end up showing who she was, but it's like, why not just do that from the fucking beginning then?
This is the key here. You can do this. Catfish as an overweight woman with some skinny models pictures, and still say don't judge a book by its cover, because that stands on its own. Mm-hmm. Okay, but this is where the gotcha comes. That's not what she did. She said something. I'm here to teach people a lesson about judging books by their covers. And you can't do that by changing the cover.
Changing your cover.
The cover on the book, that it can't be an exchangeable cover.
Yeah.
You have to actually have a book with a cover on it, and that's what it is.
Yeah,
right?
We're throwing a lot of metaphors out there, but I understand what you're saying.
I mean,
though.
she just didn't. She was completely oblivious to what she actually said. Mm-hmm. She didn't understand what she was saying, and that blows me away.
Yeah, and there's another interesting thing that I picked up on. So was it 4 out of the 5 people, or was it all 5 of them? Was they all from the people? It was Joey, Shubham.
Yeah, the 5
Sammy,
at the end were all
Rebecca,
from the beginning.
That's what I was getting at, and it also shows that like they didn't just forge an alliance, but they had like some loyalty.
Yeah,
towards each other. Over with someone they had no fucking idea was real or not.
Oh, yeah.
It was actually, I think you guys should watch it, not for the game show. It's almost like a social experiment. If you know what I mean? Like, whoever thought of this idea, I'd give it to them. You know what I mean? It's granted, yeah, I don't know how fucking real it really is or not. I don't know, these reality fucking TV shows bullshit. But when looking at it, in the perspective of like, hey, this is just a social experiment, it's pretty cool. I think anybody could watch this and get their gears turning a little bit and get something out of it, because and maybe it'll be healthy for some younger people to watch, especially people who are really hooked on the social media. I think there'll be some good gears to get turning in their heads. You don't say I have social media by now, but like, any kid who's like if you're born in the 90s like me and anything after, like there's like a 99% chance you have a social media account and you waste too much time on it, because we've had it's been a part of our lives forever. Hasn't been a part of your life forever. That's why I feel like older people, they're not as attached to it as we are.
No,
because for me as a kid growing up, MySpace and the internet came around and like everyone had it. Yeah, and you wanted to have it because everyone fucking else did. Even before that, you had AIM and AOL Instant Messenger. That was another fucking big one. Mm-hmm. I also learned all the girls who had AIMs had XOXO_, like before and after whatever their name was. It'd be like XOXO_ Michaela _XOXO. And dude, if you were a girl that had XOXO before your name, you grew up to be a hoe probably.
I think I was pretty cognizant of the fact that none of this shit was actually going to help anything, because I remember clearly being, reading the newspaper
Yeah.
and using it to generate conversations about some of this stuff. It was mostly from the conservative, tax cuts, national defense, that, free markets, but regulated economy, the conservative Republican approach, right? I thought I knew everything, but what I discovered is that just even trying to broach topics with people, even, 20 years ago, people don't want to talk about anything.
Right.
No, they want to think they know everything without ever actually letting anybody know what they know.
Yeah.
And adding all of this higher rate transmission of information technology and mixing it with corrupt fucks who do nothing but lie to everyone, and everybody's just ever increasing degree of apathy towards everything. I knew it wasn't going to help.
Right.
I mean, it's just a higher speed,
speed thing.
the concoction of the same crap we had before. It's not making anything better.
I was surprised, going back to the circle, of just the loyalty that the 5 players had from the beginning that made it to the end. Granted, I wasn't in there, but if I was in it, I would look at it as a game. I would actually, try to be that fucker that actually just wants some money, because I mean that's why you're all there in the first place. Right? Think of it this way: nobody came there to make friends. They all came there to win $100,000.
Yeah,
but they ended up all becoming friends. At least what it seemed like. You know what I mean?
It's almost like subconsciously that group just kind of felt that like maintaining that section was the
more
best
important
way to guarantee a shot.
Yeah, because they played it right, because I would play it differently. Say if I got the power so there's that one part towards the end when you're the super influencer.
Oh, where the one guy just fucking boot somebody. That was, man.
And he took out one of the new players. I would have taken out one of the powerhouses. I think that's the more strategic move. Like, so Joey was the super influencer, but it's Joey, Shubham, and Sammy.
He made the loyalty play.
He ended up winning. So maybe, so good for him. Maybe it worked out for him. Maybe I would have lost, because if you think about it, right? So you think about this shit. So if I had the power to kill someone off, I had the kill shot. You look at it from a strategic standpoint, like, man, Sammy's really hot and everyone likes her. Like, I gotta fucking get rid of her. But you're also destroying that loyalty, because you and her have gotten each other to the end by ranking each other high. So you gotta ask yourself, do I eliminate this person who's been ranking me high and keep someone new who could rank me low? Or do I eliminate the new person but keep this other chick who could potentially like beat me in the end?
It's a total mind screw.
It is, dude. It is a total mind fuck. It was funny. It's interesting.
Well, and
I bet they'll do it again.
Hey, this is, you know what? There's a hidden lesson here. Whenever you hear any of these, front stage issues, the crap that's being plastered all over everything at the moment, and you hear anything about winners and losers, just know that the only way you end up with the conditions that determine who winners and losers are is if somebody fucking imposes them. See, in a free environment, there's just people getting shit done.
Yeah.
Some people might be better at it and can charge more money. Other people aren't as good, so they can't charge as much. There's just people getting shit done. Trying to find people they like to work with and earn enough to fucking take care of their families. They do not go out and campaign and tell you that the world is ending and fucking tell you they need to raise other people's taxes to deliver you health care.
Even when we talk about the circle, still finds a way to bring it back to taxes and healthcare and the states.
Man, it's because
even, dude, like
so
we're talking about a Netflix show, you still find a way to fucking do it.
The people's bullshit. It's all man. Got to trace it back to the shit that really matters.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. How did I do that anyway?
I don't know. I don't know how you do any of this shit.
It was about how the game illustrates that winners and losers. That was perfectly. I thought that was good. Wasn't that good?
Well, I said you still. I didn't say. I said you still managed to find a way to do it. You can tie anything back to the state and taxes and healthcare, it seems like.
Because they're in everything.
Yeah.
Can't get away from them.
Right.
Super Bowl Sunday? Are you going to come to the league?
I don't know what I'm doing yet. I might. I have no plans as of now.
Well, then you should just commit.
Dude, I don't like commitment. I'm a single man now. I don't want to commit to shit.
No, this isn't a commitment. This is just knowing where you're going to be for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'll think about it. Hanging out with all you old fuckers.
Well, you know,
I haven't seen Mike in a while.
I'd love to see you.
Yeah, I haven't seen Mike in a while. Come there, drink some Schoolie lights with you guys. Yeah, we'll see. Well, the thing was it out in Coon Rapids?
Yeah.
You guys are going out there? How big is the TV?
It's like 6 blocks over from my place.
How big is the TV?
Oh, I'm sure he wouldn't invite people over if he didn't have a giant TV.
Tons of food.
Yeah, all of these goofballs have giant TVs.
It's a competition. Like when you get to that certain age, hey,
Dude,
come over to my house, look at my new TV.
I know.
Like,
I know for absolute certain that I have the smallest TV. I know I think mine is like it's a 42. Maybe?
Oh, dude, the big TV thing cracks me up, dude. That's such an American thing. Like,
well, in America, you do everything big.
Yeah, it is though. Just the bigger the fucking better, dude. It's so dumb.
If that's
Even
what you
I was
want.
guilty of it. So I have a 60-inch TV. I got it on Black Friday. It's normally like $1,200, like retail, whatever. I got it for fucking like.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, and guess how much I got for it? $600, which really makes me, which really makes me wonder, like, holy, like. How much fucking money these people are actually making, because there was who knows how many people bought that TV earlier that year before Black Friday, paid double the amount that I've, and then they're gonna chop the price in half, and then they're still gonna make money on top of that. It's fucking ridiculous. But what I was getting at, just the whole like giant TV thing, the whole America, everything big, the bigger the better. Fuck, dude, we get used to everything. I was so happy when I got that 60-inch TV. Guess what? A year later, I'm kind of used to it. Now I'm looking at that 70-inch that's on sale. And I'm looking at, and I'm thinking to myself, like, Doug, you got a fucking 60-inch TV that works fine. Who are you trying to fucking impress with an extra 10 inches? Giggity.
Is it?
No.
Oh, I was expecting. I thought he was going to walk through the door.
No, not this time.
That'd be,
what
that'd be something, wouldn't it?
What size is your TV?
It's like 40 inch, I think.
Yeah. 40 inch too big.
That's fine for me.
Yeah. That's perfect size. Yeah. Okay, well, before we wrap up, who you got then? Chiefs or Niners?
Oh, you got to go NFC when it's,
Do you?
It comes down to the end. You root for your conference.
See,
Vikings are NFC. You got to go NFC. Plus, I
would like to see Andy Reid win a ring. I feel like
that's the
that dude's been in the league for a long time.
If they trade Mahomes by Sunday, then I would root for Andy Reid. But I can't root for Patrick Mahomes to win a Super Bowl. I just can't do it.
You don't like the kid?
No.
Why?
He was in a State Farm commercial with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, doesn't that say it all? I mean, no, I just, I don't know. He's one of those guys that's been put through the image maker, and I just don't like it.
Well, they all do. Once you get to that level.
No, not all the football players out there. I mean, fine.
But they kind of turn them into a positive image, though.
It's just gross. Let's think of a guy. Have you ever seen Chris Godwin, for instance? Really broke out this year as a wide receiver. Have you seen him get put through any bullshit image maker? No. So it's not the same. That's why I don't like Pat Mahomes.
Okay, that's fair.
I just don't like him.
That's fair.
Too bad.
Even though there's no teams that I give a shit, I don't care about the Chiefs or the 49ers, but I'm actually really excited to watch the game because it's the powerhouse teams. Chiefs have been fucking coming back from 21-point deficits and putting up 50 pretty much the whole way through the postseason.
God, that was so gross.
And the Niners have just been running the ball all over everyone, and they have a good defense dominating them too. As much, I actually did want the Tennessee Titans to win because when the Vikings aren't in it, I root for the underdogs.
Underdog,
Yup,
absolutely,
the lowest
baby.
rated seed. And they took out the Pats, and they took out the Ravens. So I'm like, fuck yeah.
That was so cool.
So I'm like,
man, I wanted the Titans
I was on
to
the
win.
fucking Titans train after that. Like, and they even got the head start on the Chiefs.
I know.
That game. I was watching like, holy shit.
That was so disappointing.
Sorry. It was, dude.
I don't know. They just the Chiefs just got too much.
Yeah, they do. They're too explosive. The Titans don't have enough weapons.
It's nice when you got their players on your fantasy team.
Yeah, it
I
is.
can attest. 2
Yeah.
years ago, I had
I think maybe
hell of a
this year
run.
for fantasy, I'm just gonna draft all Chiefs and Raven players. Chiefs and Ravens.
Well, they should have two of the most difficult schedules
Coming up.
next year.
Okay.
That'll definitely play a part. And you don't know what's good. I mean, I got my fantasy guys that I watch, and they've got a handful of segments that they do in the off season that are really good. And it's the truth about each position.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do is they go through and they go down the point list, but then they've got a thing they call a consistency score. And it's basically different point thresholds for a bust game, for a good game, and for a great game. And so, more busts makes you less consistent. And so something like this year, Russell Wilson was the third quarterback point scorer.
Yeah.
He was 14th in consistency, which means, he had some of those week winning games.
Yep.
But half the season he busted.
Mm.
So
So
you're
he's really not
basically-
that good.
now you're basically trying to be better than 500, on your
Yeah.
fantasy team with a guy who busts. I mean, you can't.
But at the same time, though, finding that consistency is like the most difficult thing in fantasy football with the
Oh
players.
yeah, well,
Like,
you never want to do it with. You don't want to do it with any of these quarterbacks. I can tell
No.
you that much. I think Deshaun Watson kind of had the same thing, but then you had another quarterback that nobody really recognizes as having had some great year, but Josh Allen.
Oh, okay.
Because of his rushing yards and his touchdowns, he ends up as the number 6 guy, number 4 in consistency.
There you go.
I think
There you
he had one bust week, but he didn't have a lot of great weeks.
Mhm.
So that's why he ends up being the 6th point scorer. But I had him. I played him for a number of weeks in a row, and that was never a spot I worried about. Because every week I looked and he was, middle
He was
of the
doing
pack.
good, yeah.
He maybe wasn't even a top 12 some of those weeks, but he was
But he
never
was getting you at least 10 to 12 points or whatever.
He never left me holding the bag.
That's what all that matters.
He always lived up to his projection at least.
Well, dude, I gotta pee and blow my nose. I didn't choose the Doug Life, everyone. The Doug Life chose me. We'll be back. Well, maybe tomorrow, Thursday. We'll figure it out.
We could discuss a non-existent socialist theory of production
Tomorrow?
because since the socialists are so confused about it.
Okay, sounds good.
Philly.